Hi there, and welcome to the first ever episode of
the Blue Mind podcast, designed to raise the level of male consciousness
with a vision of transforming the lives of 1 billion men.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Blue Mind Approach.
Winston, Ed! Whoa!
How's it going, Mark?
Guys, this is fantastic. Great to see you both. How are we?
Hey, likewise, Mark. How are you?
Edward, I'm absolutely super. Absolutely super. It feels like it's been a good week. I'm super pumped for our first Blue Mind, our first attempt at a Blue Mind podcast episode. I think I mentioned to you guys that I'm a podcast virgin. I know that you two are quite into it, but I'm keen to bring some clarity around what we're trying to achieve, share our stories, and also share our vision for the future, which I think is super important because that's where it feels like we're gaining some traction from people.
Yeah, definitely. Now that people are hearing what we're doing, people are getting in touch and wanting to know, how we can help. So that's really great. I like that.
Definitely. I had an experience today where a friend that I hadn't, and we were close friends for a number of years, and he did something for me a long time ago, which I'll never forget. When I was in some trouble, and it must have been over 15 years ago. And
did he post bail for you, Mark?
He did not. No, he did not. But I did have a. And I'll mention this. I'll mention in my introduction when we come to it. But I was in a car accident, and I was driving my dad's van, and myself and another friend, there was no drink driving involved on this occasion, but we decided after a cricket match that we'd go off roading this little van, and not particularly sensible, and we ended up in a ditch basically. And ended up being like 3-4 in the morning, and I called somebody who I heard was a good guy, and he came to save us, and we became close friends.
You're very kind, Mark. You're very kind, sir.
I'm very kind. I'm very kind.
I think I love your discretion. You're no names there. Very discreet. You see.
Well, I think it's very important, Ed, because this person is called out of confidentiality today, and. It's been a long time, and it's great to hear from people, right? And while it feels like we share a common goal here, that is very much at the heart of what I believe we're trying to do in terms of being vulnerable, talking about our adversity, and giving some insight, right? Because it's hard, super duper hard. Winston, how about we start with you, as because you're not in the UK, you're over in Denmark, Copenhagen, is that right?
I'm actually over in Aarhus, or as I used to call it, Aarhus, but it's Aarhus, which is the second largest city here in Denmark.
Okay.
I've been here for about 15 years now. So I came here in 2007, so it's my 15th year, yeah, and I've been here ever since. Beautiful country. I don't know if I want to live in Copenhagen, but Copenhagen is a really nice city as well. So when I met you guys, I can't remember where I met you now, but when you told me what you guys were doing, I was definitely interested to get involved. I think everything to do with men's mental health is something I wrote my bachelor on masculinity and how that affects men in psychology and institutions and medicine. There's so many different ways it affects us negatively. So that's what really got me interested in it. So I'm glad to be a part of this.
Awesome. Love it. Ed, Mr. Bassett, would you like to give a little bit of an intro?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to introduce myself, of course. Well, I'm Ed. That's a good start. We'll start with a name.
Hi, Ed.
Hi. And I was about to do my Alcoholics Anonymous thing, which is not a laughing matter. Okay, so I'm not belittling that, but so I'm 47. I'm a father of 2 teenagers. I live in Surrey. I've traveled extensively, had a very rewarding career, been a very active, less so now, but trying to get back into athleticism and sports. Divorced, and basically I'm a self-employed business person, whatever that is. And I run a camper van business and a climbing center. And I've been on a very, very rewarding journey in the last 6 or 7 years, following a few life events, which has led me to a totally different view on the world, and hopefully a view that is providing me with a lot of enjoyment and fulfillment and learning and satisfaction, because I know ultimately if I hadn't have gone down that route, I would probably be either in a ditch or in jail, or very, very even more unhappy. So we'll talk over the course of the podcast about the learnings that we've had, the traumas, the triggers, the self-awareness, and I'm just super excited really to share my story with you guys, and hopefully to other men and women who are looking for a bit of light and looking for a catalyst to do something differently. So yeah, I'm super pumped, man, super pumped.
And so on a lot of our private calls, I think it's Ed who comes with the energy. I don't know if you agree with that, Mark, but it's definitely I think that's
Definitely.
been fun.
Definitely
Well,
classic extrovert, super excited about everything.
Thanks,
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
yeah, but maybe I'm an introvert, right? This is a mask, right? Maybe this is a mask to the true introvert that I really am, right? We don't know. Anyway, Kosminski.
Yes, Edward.
Mark, welcome, Mark. Let me hear a bit about yourself.
Welcome. It doesn't feel like we heard an awful lot about Winston, but we'll save the best for last.
I just realised that.
We'll save the best for last. But no, thanks Ed for the intro. I think we first met in 2012, didn't we, Ed, on a rugby tour? Maybe before the rugby tour to Dubai, but we experienced the wonderful Dubai Sevens and playing with some good friends from Morlingham Rugby Club. But in terms of, so I'm 36.
Well, I mean, one thing to mention, I mean, rugby is something that unites us all, I think, and we've all got that shared love of team sports and rugby particularly. So whether we can get Will Carling on the podcast maybe at some point, or some of the
Johnny Wilkinson. I'll send a few messages. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure we can. I'm sure we'll be able to get somebody involved, because it's so. I was speaking to a client the other day, and he played a lot of rugby when he was younger, and he said, very similar experience in terms of you immerse yourself in that culture. It's a very heavy drinking culture. The behaviour is questionable, but it's accepted, and you do it for so many years, and you come out of, I don't know what it was like for you guys and how much you did that, but for him and I, it was you reach early 30s and you think, oh my goodness, what have I been doing? Just my mum would be so embarrassed of me. But we will move on to rugby and common interest. But yes, I'm Mark. I'm 36 years old. I'm divorced. I'm divorced as well. Edward. So I'm a very proud father to incredible identical twin boys. And I'm a business owner, so I run a recruitment and a sales coaching business, and it feels like I'm in a really good place, but it hasn't always been that way. Back in 2018, when I originally separated from the boy's mother, I was really struggling with self-sabotage around binge drinking, binge eating. That concluded in me being arrested for drink driving, and spending a night in the cell, which is not good. A lot of time to reflect, and it's embarrassment, isn't it? Because deep down that it's not you, that it's not your true identity, and immersing myself in personal growth and reading and gaining insight and surrounding myself with people that are trying to discover this best version of themselves has just been revolutionary for me. And when I realized that back in 2018, I just haven't looked back since, because it's incredible. And I just, you just want to share. It's, you know, you want to help other people. You meet other people. We've now been introduced to Winston, and I said, you know, alluded to the fact that we received a handful of messages over the last couple of months of people who are reaching out and asking, said, look, well, I want to change, I don't know how. And it's, yeah, it feels like we're doing some really good stuff. So for me personally, I've got this vision for the brands, the Blue Mind brand, to transform the lives of a billion men, billion fathers, brothers, etc. That won't happen in our lifetime, but I believe the foundation that we're setting is going to is much bigger than us, and it will go beyond our lifetime. So I'm hoping you share a similar vision, guys.
Billion. Let's start with 100.
I heard recently,
No, you got to think big, Ed.
We're so close to helping 1 billion people, because, you know, if you do something positive for 1,000 people in your life, and they do something for 1,000 people in their life, then you've actually reached 1 million already right there, right? So you can see we're 3 steps away from 1 billion. So to directly affect 1 billion people, okay, that's ambitious for in our lifetime, but, you know, if we start building something, then we can definitely help a lot of people.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
That was great, Mark. Thanks for that. I think just maybe let's just talk a little bit, if we may, on what we believe Blue Mind is trying to be, and where we would like to take it, and what people listening to this, presumably we get 1 or 2, what they can get out of it. So I mean, we were on Clubhouse, which we all remember, and we did some Clubhouse sessions, and we had, you know, maybe 3 people, maybe no people, maybe 20 people, and it was a good exercise in trying to refine what it is we're trying to achieve. So what we've agreed is that we're going to do a monthly podcast and blog, which we'll put on a website, and we'll put it on YouTube, and that will be a thematic of 12 different topics, ranging from fatherhood to self-sabotage to self-awareness to dealing with relationship issues, becoming better versions of yourself. And hopefully through recording and blogging those 12 episodes, we'll have some nice content that people can pick up when they want to, and that's the main focus at the moment. So this is the first one of those. We're also going to then, I think, we are going to get guest speakers on. So we're going to interview people, do some Instagram lives, again, with interviewing men and women who've got something inspiring to offer, whether it be self-realization or incredible storytelling, or journeys that they've been through, which offer a perspective, I think, on particularly on masculine behaviors and improvements. And I think third, after that, you know, we have social media channels, so you can follow that. And we, you know, what we're trying to do is put some learning, some experiences, and we're trying to give people an angle which we hope is positive. And you know, we want feedback, we want people to engage. So what I would say to people listening to this, if people want to contribute, if they want to talk to us, if they want to come on the podcast, if they want to do anything that they think is helping themselves or the Blue Mind approach, which is about these common behaviors, then reach out and let us know. And we hope the journey is going to be business-like, but actually we're quite excited that it could go in many different directions. But the aims are hopefully a bit clearer to people watching. I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that in terms of direction.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really liked at the beginning, I know you guys are based in the UK and I'm in Denmark, but I'm often in the UK. My family is there. It's actually just me and my son here in Denmark. And the idea of maybe meeting up every now and again, if we do get a few people that are interested in that, that would be a real, I think that would support and help a lot of people. I know I would love to meet like-minded people. So that could be something that we do in the future. So yeah, write in if that's something you're interested in.
Definitely.
Sure.
And
we talked about. Sorry, Mark.
I was just going to lead on to asking a question in terms of perhaps seeking some clarity and defining what Blue Mind is in terms of you know, what we believe it is for each other. But we've, as Ed said, we've spent probably a few months now trying to refine or define, redefine, etc. what it means. But in short, it's a mindset. It is deliberately raising the level of specifically male consciousness, as we are obviously all males, and improving or driving behavioral changes, because we feel, having experienced it ourselves, that society, leadership, or perhaps even our parents did not have the tools in order to guide us in the way that perhaps we needed it to be guided on those particular on those subjects. So that's what it's for me. For me, in short, it's a mindset. It's about deliberately raising your level of consciousness. Winston, what does blue mind mean for you?
Yeah, I think for me, blue mind is the idea that, like you've touched on there, we've got some similar experiences, and what I'm starting to realize, and I think we're realizing through blue mind, is that as soon as we start opening up and talking about this, there's a lot of people who come to us because, hey, we're not alone. We're not the only people who've been through some of the experiences we've been through. We're all divorced. We all have children that don't live with us full time. Mark, you've been through some issues as a result of that. Ed and myself have also been through our journeys to get where we are now, where we feel that we can actually help other people with our stories. So for me, it's the idea of creating a community where people like us can speak to each other, support each other. And I guess in some cases, people who are slightly younger than us, we can also help them to avoid certain situations. I know that I speak to my son about a lot of my mistakes, and I'm sure you do as well, Mark. So Ed, if that's what we're all doing, then our children have kind of, they have a head start over what we had, I guess.
Oh, I love that. Definitely.
Yeah. I think that's really powerful, the idea of getting to younger people, and maybe that's giving coaching in schools or presentations. And again, we're open to giving messages out which we think are positive, and I think if I can add something about what I see the approach as, I mean, I think as a man who was simply unable to communicate my feelings in so many ways, and that would result in massive frustration and malcontent, discontent, and ultimately outbursts of frustration and anger, just not being able to process my feelings in a way that I understood, drinking excessively, drug taking, self-sabotage, in a think away, binge drinking, in a lot of ways that I think many people can relate to, and literally never sitting down and thinking, how do I make positive changes for me, and then for my kids, for my relationships. And it's a fascinating, and I think what I would say about my approach to life now is that my own personal truth, it's a bit cliche, but whatever your truth is, whatever you feel is the way you need to lead your life is the most important thing. And I think there's a tremendous freedom in knowing who you are. And there's a tremendous freedom that whatever you say, as long as you say it in a way that is from a place of love and not from anger and judgment and bitterness and resentment and all these sort of stereotypical ego-driven emotions, that to me is the aim. Is, we all have problems. I think that the main thing is not pretending that we have it all worked out. It's trying to give support and using our own experiences and people that we meet and a community that we're trying to develop is making men know that it's okay to say, you know what, I'm struggling, you know what, I'm overwhelmed, and I need to process better and seek that help and that communication. And I would always advocate therapy. First stop you go, get some coaching, get some therapy, and work through the problems that you're having. And when I started doing that, it was just like the someone had opened a door, really, and I didn't feel judged. I felt ashamed that I was needing to go there. And once I realized it was acceptable to be weak and acceptable to need help, my entire approach to life changed, and my relationships have become so much more wonderfully productive and honest and transparent. And people that love you will listen to you, and it takes a big step to be vulnerable and open about how you really feel about things. And that to me is what the Blue Mind approach is. It's about being brave enough to vocalize what is going on in your heart and head with people that love you, and finding help where you need it. And I think we're here as people that have been through that journey to help, right? That's people that have been through a tough time, want to share, right? We're not doing this as a business. Maybe it will become a business one day. Let's hope it does. But at the moment, it's about building a community of growth. Back to you, Mark.
The Ed Bassett Show.
It is, yeah. I know it's only Ed, but shut up, you're really on one.
Winston, we're changing the name. We're changing the name to the Ed Bassett Show. Right.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I love.
You did ask, Mark. Just being transparent, man. Just being transparent.
Well, yeah, and I'm pleased that you used that word again, Ed, because it feels like you actually clearly articulated some of our core values there in terms of the main one for me, and it feels like you'll agree, Winston, is vulnerability. Is that for years I felt I couldn't be myself because of the people putting limitations on me, or being judged, or a feeling that I got of nervousness and anxiety, etc. And as soon as I turned around and I was honest, just completely transparent, you very quickly identify your community, don't you? The people that don't like it doesn't actually matter, because that's not who your audience is. So if anything you can take away from this initial introduction is be vulnerable, live an authentic, transparent life, because it's like this big release, isn't it? It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Well, absolutely. Secrets make you sick, and that's a great Instagram quote. But I think it's an absolute stormer, and it's so the world is much lighter when you're not telling lies to people. And I think that's I think a lot of people, myself included, we wander around, with a mask on, afraid to open up, afraid to tell people our fears, and I think one thing I will add, I won't go off on a big one again, but we are fairly light-hearted men, and this is not about sitting in the dumps, whining and moaning and self-analyzing. This is about launching people and ourselves, right? We're getting a lot from this. This is about meeting like-minded people that want to evolve, not repeat, but people that we want to meet people that are in this kind of space with us and grow that community together. And there'll be some people at different stages of that evolution of self-awareness, and other people that are advanced to us. And all more the merrier, really. We don't have a silver bullet, but I hope as we go along we provide some content that is interesting to at least a few people, and I think it'll certainly be a great journey for the three of us, if nothing else. So
I think, one of the things I'll pick up on there is, and you both touched on it, and it's this idea of living authentically. I mean, I've done a lot of these values tests with my partner Heidi, and I keep coming back to the same thing. Authenticity is always my number one value. And I know where it started. I'll tell that story when we get there. But for me, it's so important that you live your truth and you do what makes sense for you. And I think I was about 28 when I realized I wasn't doing that. And that was, I passed some qualifications here in Denmark in order to get into university. Everyone around me thought it was great, and I thought it was terrible because I could have done more. And that came back from stuff from my childhood. And when I was able to realize that and actually live for myself and do things because I wanted to do it, achieve what I wanted to achieve, and not have to do it for anyone else, that was such a game changer for me. So that was then about focusing on what was important to me. What did I want to do? And since then, I've made some mistakes, of course, and there's some situations I'm still dealing with, but all in all, my life has definitely improved just by being authentic and being truly who I am. So I definitely recommend that. And I hope people who join Blue Mind or follow us get that from us, that live authentically.
Definitely. Love that. Absolutely love that. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because what Ed was saying about, it's important we articulate who we are, and also what we don't do. So we're not therapists. We're not looking to provide any sort of professional advice there. That's not what we're looking to do. We're looking to be vulnerable. We're looking to share stories of adversity and talk about how, we're not sitting here in victim stage. We're not complaining. we're talking about with solutions, we're being solution driven. We're going to explain what we did in that situation, what worked for us, what we tried that didn't work for us, and hopefully we continue to receive messages out the blue by sharing our content. We're very active on social media now. We're all passionate about daily movement. I refer to it as daily movement, but working out, being healthy, moving every day. Gratitude is a very important, a very important thing to practice. It feels like we're not really taught to be grateful, and the reality is we should be grateful for a lot of things. Forgiveness, all this type of stuff. So I believe that will be talked about a lot more over the series. The series, we've got a podcast series.
Would it sound right if I described us three guys with three men trying to figure out life with our children and through previous relationships and to help other people, right? And like you said, this isn't about being therapists or anything like this. It's just about sharing our stories and sharing what we've learned, and hopefully learning from other men that have been through their experiences as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's all about gaining insight.
Alternatively, we could call it Two Bull Guys and a Fringe. How about that for a title?
And one beard.
And a couple of some grey stubble.
Perhaps that leads us on to maybe our first topic of conversation for the next episode, because as Winston alluded to, something we're extremely passionate about individually is fatherhood, parenting, and we can talk about what fatherhood means to us, our style of leadership, some experiences, co-parenting. That's I believe a big topic where there are multiple areas of improvement, etc. So that would, unless there are any objections, that could be a very suitable first topic.
I think fatherhood is a great topic and I think a lot of men who are fathers, who will be fathers, who want to be fathers, and who've had fathers, I presume most of us had, we all carry around baggage, and I love my parents, as we all do, dearly, but it doesn't mean that we all couldn't have done things better, myself included. And I think we're all one of the main thrusts around this is to try and offer things that mean that people don't repeat, and I certainly try and parent my children around not making the mistakes I've done, and some of the things my father may have done better, and he didn't have the skills to do it, just like I didn't. So we want to pass those things on to people, to guys who hopefully don't land themselves in similar situations. And so I think it's a great topic to start with. I really look forward to it.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'd love to add there from my experience, because we've all got this situation where we're co-parenting and we're raising great children. I've seen your kids on social media. But at the same time, I've got another situation where I have a younger son where the co-parenting there isn't anywhere near optimal. So I'm happy to speak about that and hopefully reassure some guys that even when you are trying your best, there is those times where you can't figure it out. So what do you do in that situation? So that would be something I'd love to talk more about and get some advice on also.
Definitely, Winston, that'd be fantastic. And thank you because that is, again, being vulnerable in a situation that is live for you right now. So that'll be an absolutely fascinating topic. Ed, perhaps wrapping up, where can people find you on where you're most active on social media?
Yeah, Instagram, Ed Bassett one, LinkedIn. I work as a startup consultant for businesses. I'm absolutely passionate about growth in companies and people, and I just love that journey. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm sure we can put the details on the podcast here. I'm always very happy to have a chat with anybody, providing it's organized, to scope out why they want to talk and what it is they're looking to change. So yeah, you reach out. I think where we're looking to take Blue Mind is very much it's a very, very passionate project for all three of us. We offer professional services in terms of potentially the ability to mentor and coach. Candidly, I haven't got to the stage where I'm thinking of monetizing this as a business for myself. This is about meeting people where we can make real change, people who are desperate for growth or hungry for growth. I want to network with people who are particularly looking to start companies. And I love messaging men. Not in that way. I love messaging and discussing with guys my journey, but actually getting guys into a much better space. So I don't really know in terms of contact. I mean, you can find me. We're very open and transparent, and don't chortle Mark about my serious messaging. This is a serious podcast.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Ed, awesome. Winston, where can we find you? Where are you most active on social media?
I am most active at winstonwilliams.dk on Instagram. That is also my website, or yourvaluescoach.com. Those are the places you'll find me. And at the top of my website page, you've got all the links to my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my LinkedIn, Spotify, Instagram, and you can also email me privately or WhatsApp me. And you even book a 15-minute call if you just want to have a quick chat. I do that for free. So it's normally a discovery call when people want to do some coaching with me, but use the link if you just want to have a 15-minute chat with me. And I'm happy to support anyone who's going through some form of divorce or having a hard time with their partner and see how I can help them. So Instagram, winstonwilliams.dk, and the website by the same address.
Super duper. And for myself, so Instagram, recently discovered Reels. The guys are probably absolutely fed up on my Reels. I think that's they're just fun, aren't they? If no one else enjoys them, I enjoy it. That's all that matters. Have it very active on Instagram. So that's Mark Kosminski. LinkedIn as well. I've got over 11,000 followers on there. So Mark Kosminski, and I am a founder of a recruitment and sales company called CDZ, CDZ Group, which is named after my twin boys, Charlie and Zach. So Zach, he came up to me and went, "Dad, I got a wicked idea, wicked name for your business. It should be Charlie, Dad, and Zach." And because we're always stronger together, so which is why the tagline is stronger together. So
love that.
Brilliant. I think great, Mark. I was just going to say, I think if people have watched this and they're thinking this is kind of interesting, I would suggest that they just follow the Instagram. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. Really, things to look out for is the monthly podcast. We're going to do some interviews. We're going to put a website out there, some content. If people want more urgent, structured help, we all have the ability to mentor and coach. That's Winston's day job. He's a professional at it. Mark and I are running our own businesses, but we also do a number of things that could be defined as mentoring and coaching. So I think all three of us are quite willing to have conversations about personal growth. Or anything we're doing with Blue Mind, just reach out to us, reach out to the page, and one of us will call you and have a call with you. So, it's a non-judgment space. We're on an exciting journey, and do reach out and say hi. That's the main thing at this stage.
Actually, something just to add there, because we've all presented ourselves, Blue Mind approach on Instagram. So if you send us a message there, you actually have direct contact to all three of us.
Unless someone writes in and says, "Hey, is that Winston and Mark? Who's that dickhead Ed who's banging on about?" Yeah, I think you two guys are great, but he's a bit of a bell end. I mean, unless it's that, in which case, please don't message, because my fragile ego can't cope with it. Joke,
another one to be edited out.
I'm putting that as number 2, the second season.
Bell end is not a swear word. Bell end is not a swear word. It's like bugger. It's a friendly thing.
Is it?
I don't know.
Winston's absolutely right. The Blue Mind approach on Insta, and Ed mentioned the Facebook group there as well. I think we're also on LinkedIn, but not particularly active. That's something we're going to look to ramp up over the course. And in terms of future podcasts, the three of us have sat down. We've got some really super exciting guests that we plan on bringing to you. So stay tuned for that as well, because it's going to be a profound insight into their stories and techniques on how they helped and raise their own level of consciousness. Awesome. How do we? How should we finish? I think we're not doing a little. Oh yeah, like a little.
We do like
That's a blue heart. A little blue heart. How do you do a blue mind?
I don't know. Yes, we'll just say goodbye. Good night, good evening, and welcome.
Yeah, and wishing you a blue mind, a clear mind. I don't know. We need to work on that. Maybe we need to work on that.
That's what I mean. Write in with your suggestions. So we
How do we end the podcast? Well,
Awesome,
thank you guys.
Loved
It's
it.
been, as always, lovely, and hopefully someone will find this relatively useful, if not slightly entertaining. So, see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.